Okay, let me start this off by stating that I'm a big fan of Apple products. I own an Apple Watch, iPhone, iPad, AirPods, you name it. I've probably owned it at least once in my life. And as far as the iPhone goes, I have been purchasing iPhones since the iPhone 4S came out, and I have upgraded every single year except for one. And in a lot of those, I've had to deal with Apple trade-in, and never had a problem with them. In fact, it was actually a better experience than working with just about anybody else because Apple sends you a box with a little instruction pamphlet and how to send it back, shipping label. Everything worked out great. So this year, no different. I decided to upgrade my 14 Pro to a 15 Pro Max. Wanted to get a better phone with better battery life, and was like, yeah, this is the time I'm going to go to the larger screen. So I ordered the phone, finance it through Apple Card, and then we have people on our T-Mobile plan. If they traded in their phone, they would get an iPhone 15 for free. So we had 4 people that were due for an upgrade. We upgraded them as well. All the boxes and phones got delivered to me and was able to get everybody transferred over, no problems. And then we had the boxes, and I'm one of these people that I'm making sure, hey, this phone's in great condition. There's no blemishes, there's no cracks. I clean the phones thoroughly before I send them off. I make sure they're wiped, just like it tells you to do. So I take care of that. Package all 5 at the same time. And this year it was returning it with FedEx. And usually I do it with UPS. This year they were with FedEx for some reason. Downside of that for me is I don't know many FedEx stores around here compared to the UPS stores. A lot of them, I do trade-ins or deals with them. So therefore, I know the people in the store. It's great. FedEx, not so much. And I wanted to be more careful because I don't want to just drop this off at, say, a Walgreens to a FedEx return or shipping area. So I found a FedEx store. Made sure I actually went to one of the head ones. There was one maybe about 9 miles from where I live. I was like, I'll take it there. It's safer that way. Return the phones. Wait to get word back that, hey, your trade-in's complete and, everything's good to go. And started getting a few of those emails on some of them. And then all of a sudden I get 2 that state, hey, your trade-in is no good because there was no phone in the box. So that's a shock to me. I mean, there were 5 phones. I shipped them all at the same time. I packaged them myself. There was phones in the boxes. And of course, one of them was mine. It was the iPhone 14 Pro. Go figure. And the other one was an iPhone 13. So to me, it's obvious what happened. I'm like, look, people know that if they see a box like this, they know it's an iPhone that's being returned for trade-in. They know the phone's been wiped because it's one of the requirements when we turn these phones in. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be an obvious thing. Apple's clearly going to notice what's going on here, and they're going to resolve the issue. So I call them and I give them detailed information about each of the phones. I'm like, look, I've worked with you guys for years on this stuff. Never had this problem happen. I'm sure we're going to figure this out. I said, but clearly 3 of the phones got there. Pretty obvious what happened to the other 2. And they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to get back with you. We'll call you. And that was on a Thursday. So I'm waiting to hear back. They said it could be a couple days. Weekend goes by. I'm like, they're probably not going to do it on the weekend. It'll probably be Monday or so. So never get a call. But then today, Tuesday, I get an email about my trade-in for the 14 Pro. And it says, your trade-in's been canceled. And your card will now be charged for the full value of the phone. What the heck, Apple? We just talked about this. We know what really happened to the phone, so I have to call them again. Get on the phone. It takes over an hour to talk to people. And I'm told, well, they did an investigation. And according to the investigation, there was nothing that they found that would deem anybody at fault. So you have to pay the difference. Really? Apple? The amount of phones I've bought directly from you and traded into you, and you're going to now basically tell me that I'm a liar. That I sent 2 empty boxes when 3 of them were full. So then shortly after, I get the charge on my Apple Card of, what the remaining balance was. Now, that 14 Pro gave me a trade-in credit of $570. Lower than what last year's 13 Pro gave me, but whatever. Which also, one of the benefits is that $570 comes off the total before it's taxed, so it saves you additional money. So, it's actually a good bit. So I ended up being charged $609 on my Apple Card that I now have to pay. Because either FedEx or somebody stole the phone. I'm like, guys, you can't tell me that this isn't obvious. It's written all over it. Oh, well, we didn't find any fault. I said, really? You didn't look to see if the tape was cut or replaced or anything of that nature? I said, I got footage of me going to the FedEx store. there was an issue with me scanning those phones in. I had to go to the front desk and talk to somebody, and they're supposed to put them in the drop-off box, and they didn't. They actually took it back behind the counter. Not saying that person actually stole the phones, but, you know, it's possible. I said, so what did this investigation entail? Either way, they said they're going to look into it further, but more than likely it's going to come out to the same result. This is a load of crap. I have never in my life with Apple had this kind of an issue before. Hopefully that we get this resolved, but this just goes to show you guys, maybe don't trade in with Apple if you want to make sure your devices are going to get there on time or safely. Like, I would have taken it to the Apple Store, sure, but it's about an hour away from me, and I don't really have time to just do that when they can just send me a trade-in kit and I can easily mail it off to them. But if it's going to be this way, I just may not trade in with them again. Bad experience, Apple, bad.